Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Sal Vetri Show. How is it going? What's up? What's going on? It's Wednesday here, so we're going to be breaking down the Saturday slate. So I already broke down kind of the divisional round, also took a first look at it, so check out those videos if you haven't. Now I want to break down the Saturday slate because it's a two-game slate and there's a $100,000 prize in tournaments. So I think some people, and some of you watching this, most likely if you're watching this, are going to be playing it, right? Whether it's a tournament or head-to-heads. There's a lot to definitely do here on this slate. So let's check out what we can do. So the games are the Colts versus the Chiefs and the Cowboys versus the Rams, right? And I'll stop quick and I'll just say, I should introduce myself if you haven't been here before. My name is Sal Vetri. How rude of me. But welcome to the channel or the podcast, whatever you're listening to or viewing this on. I appreciate you being here, and I would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you could like this video to push us up the search rankings so more of you guys can see this and get benefit from it, or entertainment, whatever it is. Or maybe that's one and the same, I don't know. But if you could do that, like the video, and also subscribe. Subscribing definitely helps to get to 2,000 subscribers, right? Comment below to join the raffle for $10 PayPal. Who do you think will be the highest scoring wide receiver on Draftkings, so PPR format? And then I'll just let you know in the description below. I'll notify you real quick. There's a Facebook group you guys can join down there. It's a ton of fun. We got people in it right now giving up-to-the-minute insights, suggestions, opinions, strategy talk. Stats are going in there, all this type of stuff. It's honestly great. It's helping me out a ton, and I know it's helping everybody else out. They've just had a lot of good things to say. If you're in the Facebook group, drop a comment below and tell people why they should join, right? And then lastly, I'll just say, I have a PDF down below that a lot of people have said they've gotten value from. I would greatly appreciate it if you can click that PDF. It just shows how to be more contrarian and also how to set yourself up more optimal to win on DraftKings, specifically in tournaments, or mainly in tournaments. So definitely check that out below. I greatly appreciate it. I spent a lot of time on it. It's 9 pages, trying to kind of hone my DFS writing skills. Let me know how it is in the comments below, and I greatly appreciate it, guys. So yeah, let's get into this 2-game slate. So I like 2-game slates. Love these 4-game slates, as you guys probably know from watching some of the other videos. There's a lot of strategy goes into it, right? Showdown slates, there's some strategy as well, trying to be different, but it's kind of just random. And these are too, but it's a little less of a lottery system because there's more players to choose from, which makes it a little less variant. But on this slate, the thing that's interesting is we still keep a Zeke and a Gurley, right? So they're playing each other, so that game's on this slate. It's going to be on the showdown slate as well, which I think has a pretty good prize of $125,000 for a Saturday night showdown slate. That's pretty good. Might have to do a video on that as well. But right now, if we're just looking, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, Andrew Luck, Jared Goff, and Dak Prescott. Andrew Luck, as you guys know, is a guy that I like this week a lot. And he's priced at the exact same price as he is on the main slate. And we can see right now that Patrick Mahomes is priced a little bit less at $6,900, which is definitely interesting. We just got Matt Hayes has now subscribed to the channel, so thank you, Matt Hayes. If you're out there, shout out to you. I got that email notification just now. But yeah, I mean, Jared Goff's a guy who's probably going to be the least owned out of these 4. Dak Prescott will get some ownership just because he's the cheapest guy. That's 1. And 2, because he's been playing a little bit better than Goff as of late, right? And a lot more people are going to be getting on Gurley than on Goff. And I can see people fading Zeke a little bit more to go to a Dak in that situation. So I'm going to plug in and see what we can do if we start with Luck. And again, I like Luck a lot this week. I like his situation. I like him to throw for 40+ times. I mean, I'm probably highlighting over Patrick Mahomes too much. But we could also go to Patrick Mahomes here if we wanted to, right? But let's see what happens if we build with Luck. You guys know my strategy for this week, right? I love Zeke. I love Gurley. And I think on this small game slate, a lot of people are going to go there as well because now you don't have some other options on the slate. You don't have Kamara. You don't have James White. You're literally going Zeke, Gurley, Mac. Maybe Damian Williams is viable if Spencer Ware doesn't play. If Spencer Ware plays, it's Zeke, Gurley, and Mac. That's it that you feel comfortable running out there to get you guaranteed touches, right? Guaranteed touches, guaranteed production. Or at least as close as you can get with it. A guy who's interesting at 3,300 is Hines, who basically shit the bed last week, had him in a lot of lineups. I actually didn't get toasted because I had Allen Robinson, I had Amari Cooper, I had Zeke, and it kind of lifted up my lineups to get me at least cashing in some of them. But Hines, basically getting a goose egg cost me a lot more money, potentially 6 figures if he could have gotten double digits, so, or 5 figures. So that sucks, but we're going to get there one day. Yeah, he laid up a goose egg last week. Didn't really play at all. Got no targets, got no usage at all. A couple of routes run, that's about it. So yeah, he played just as many snaps basically as Jordan Wilkins, who hasn't done anything this year. But at 3,300, nobody's going to be on him. If you figure that this isn't going to be a game that the Colts control the whole time and it's not going to be the Marlon Mack show, which I don't think it will be, $3,300, nobody's going to want to touch a guy who just got a goose egg last week and burnt a lot of people. He's in a position where this could be that 6-7 target game for Marlon Mack. He catches 4 to 5 balls. If he gets you 40, 50 yards, That's pretty good at 9 points at 3,300, especially if nobody's on him. And if he falls in the end zone, even better. So Hines is interesting, especially if you want to do something like this where you go Andrew Luck, Ezekiel Elliott, and Gurley, and then you say, you know what, let's just throw Hines in that flex spot. And in this situation, you wouldn't put Hines in the flex spot. You'd actually put Hines in your running back slot and then throw whoever you want, Gurley or Zeke in the flex spot. I'd probably end up going with Zeke because he's a little more expensive than Gurley. So the idea there, which most of you probably know, is that late swap, just put whoever's the most expensive guy in that later game that you're playing in your flex spot in case you ever want to pivot. So let's see, you put Hines in there and you got basically $4,960 left to spend at any other position. So this is very interesting now because we haven't even put a defense in. So let's quickly just go and put a defense in and see what we could do here. So, I mean, I don't like to spend too much time on defense, but when there's only 4 and it's a small slate, this is how you basically win the slates, right? If one defense gets a pick 6, you have to have that defense. Probably to even cash in most parts. If they all kind of do the same, but one gets 2 points higher, you probably have to have that defense still. Colts against the Chiefs, probably not a smart play. Not even to save the money, not a smart play. Cowboys against the Rams, this isn't a terrible play. Don't hate that. Chiefs against the Colts, Luck does throw his interceptions. This should be high scoring, but in fantasy, we don't really care if they score a lot of points. We want to see if there's opportunity for pressure, if there's opportunity for pick sixes, and if a team gets up big, like the Colts or like the Chiefs have done all year, getting up against opponents, scoring on their first drives against their opponents. We can see Andrew Luck having to throw the ball 50 times. If he's throwing the ball 50 times, you best believe he's throwing at least a few that are questionable, or at least there's going to be a little bit more blitzes because they know he's in passing situations. Could be a good situation. The Rams at home, that pressure against Dak Prescott, that just seems like a great matchup. All the way up at 3K though. It's definitely a way to differentiate. Let's go with the Chiefs right now at 2,300, who might be the most owned just because they're a little bit cheaper and because they're in a very similar situation as the Rams, if not better, because Luck does throw his picks, and the Chiefs are probably going to be playing ahead at least for some part of the game. So we have our 3 wide receivers left and a tight end, and we have $5,625. I mean, I'll go back quickly to running back and just highlight the fact that literally nobody is left, right? Damian Williams is a smash play at $4,900. If where it sits, he's in. He's probably going to be the most owned guy. I'll play him all day long, maybe even try to differentiate by fading a Zeke or a Gurley. But in this situation, with the information that we have as of Wednesday, there's no way I'm fading, or there's no way I'm playing Damian Williams over a guy like Zeke or Gurley. There's just no way. And again, if that bites me in the butt and Damian Williams plays a lot, even with Ware playing, and he does better than Zeke and Gurley. This is just hindsight's 2020. It's easy to come back and go in the comments and say, you said you would never play him, look what happened. I've been getting that, right? I've been getting that. These videos that I'm making, I can't tell the future. I'm never wanting to give out picks when I do my player pool stuff on Draft Dashboard. That's me giving a 30-second ad to Draft Dashboard, which I'll plug it right now. Draft Dashboard, check it out, reduce research time. I mean, I use the tool, it's cheap, 30 days for $1, and you do get access to my player pool. That's not me saying, this is my pick, you guys better take him. If I ever use the word pick, it's because it's good for search engine reasons and you guys get to see more of my videos. And so do other people to grow the community. I don't want to just give out picks because I'm a person who likes DFS, looks into it a little bit more, uses data a little bit more, player projections, things like that. Lineup optimizers sometimes, ownership definitely. I'm somebody who uses all that stuff, but I'm not saying that I win big. I've never said I won big. That's just something I want to clarify. I've been close to 5 figures 3 times this year by 0.5 points or less last week. Definitely big that Nyheim Hines didn't score any points, screwed me over. But yeah, it could happen any single week. I'm just somebody making videos on it. I, like Al Seinfeld, did not win the Millie Maker, but I think that that's a lottery system. Al definitely has a better shot when he's entering 150 lineups, and honestly, great for him. He's a good DFS player. He's a pro. But I'm not in that situation as a college student to be doing that. But that's just me being open and honest to you guys. Just when people get in the comments and say, I used your lineup and it didn't do anything. Well, it was a first look lineup for one, and I say that this is Monday, this isn't going to be my lineup, this is an entertaining thing, it's a thing to look at the first slate, and then in these breakdown videos like I'm doing right now, this is just me plugging people in to see how it fits. This is literally me looking at this for the first time, so don't use these lineups. I mean, you can use these lineups if that's just the way you built them, or they do come out good, but don't use them and expect to win, because that's not a promise. But there's that little infomercial for you guys. So yeah, we're at wide receivers now. I mean, running back, nothing's left, it's all backups. I mean, Kelly, Wilkins, Smith, like, we don't want any of that. If any of them score, some random person with a 150-person entry is going to win, and that's how it always happens, but let's just say that doesn't happen. Tyreek at 7,300 is the most expensive guy. That's interesting. So on these slates, he's the guy who can break the slates, and I think pairing him with Patrick Mahomes is probably a pretty good move if you can find the salary. Because if you're entering 10 lineups, that should probably be like 3 or 4 years, outweigh the field, because if he catches his 70-yard touchdown like he seems to do half the weeks, and he seems to usually do in primetime situations or big game situations, you're probably set. I'm not going to put him in right now. T.Y. Hilton, his splits when he's not playing in a dome, so which is A, at home or just on the road in a dome, they're a lot worse. He's averaging like 60, 65 yards a game. He's getting a touchdown every 4 of those games. There's going to be a lot more balls thrown for Andrew Luck in this game, but I don't think I'm going to go to T.Y. Hilton. So who am I going to pair an Andrew Luck with, right? I mean, we got Hines out there, so that's a pass-catching guy. We really don't have to pair him with anybody else in these smaller slates if you really want to differentiate yourself, but we'll get to that point. I'm going to plug in Robert Woods at 56. You guys know I like him a lot. He's 5,900 on the main slate here, the 4-game slate. I love him a lot. I mean, I mentioned in the past videos, I don't want to be repetitive if you've listened to those videos or those parts of the podcast, but he's in the slot. He's coming off a down week. He's Mr. Consistent. Goff loves him, looks there. He's going to avoid Byron Jones, and the way you attack the Cowboys is through the slot. So give me Robert Woods at 5,600. That's an absolute steal of a play. Next up, I'm going to go right to Amari at 6,100. We could fit Amari in this lineup, guys. We can make this lineup work most likely. I haven't looked at tight end yet, so maybe we can't. But getting Amari in this spot, and you're still getting Zeke, it might be worth going down and getting Dak as well and saving a little bit of money, $1,000 to get Zach. We'll see if that's what we have to do here. But Amari, he's in a little bit of a tougher matchup, so now that I think about this more, I'm not sure I want to go there. If he has a Aqib Talib on him, not really worried about Marcus Peters. But this is a game where Amari is still getting the targets out there. He's getting all the target share. You have to imagine somebody's going to slow down either him or Zeke, especially when the Rams have had a little bit of time, but it just doesn't seem that way, especially when Zeke's getting force-fed 25 to 30 times and Amari's getting double-digit targets. It's kind of hard to slow those guys down because they are talented, right? You can try to take them out. Nobody has really yet. So, I mean, that's Amari if you want to go to him. Inman at 4,700 is a guy that you could pair Luck with here. He's going to be higher owned than usual. He's still cheap. He's 4,800 on the main slate, 4,700 here. And I think he's a good play, right? He's running the same amount of routes as T.Y. Hilton. Hilton's going to get the majority of the attention. If we plug Inman in there, we have $6,100 left over. And let's look at the rest of the wide receivers, though, because I know we do have Gallup out here. And outside of Gallup, there's not much down there. Watch Cole Beasley, because whether he plays or not, it's an interesting position. If he plays, playing Cole Beasley at $3,700 is interesting, right? Easier to attack the slot as opposed to Peters, who hasn't been good but better in the second half of the year for the Rams, and Talib, who's back now. It might be a little bit easier to attack that slot position, go with a guy like Beasley, maybe over an Amari. So watch that, and if he's out, I think the $3,000 mark could be very interesting for guys like Noah Brown, for guys like Tavon Austin, so check the news for that. But right now, this is a little sketchy because there's no other wide receivers here, right? I mean, go ahead, take your risk with Chris Conley, take your risk with Gallup. Sammy Watkins is a guy I'll mention if he's going to play at $4,500. He could be that good play. He hasn't played in a while, right? He hasn't performed in a while, so nobody's going to be on him. If he does suit up and play, you'd imagine he's playing at least healthy enough, right, to put some points up. Could be a very interesting play. Gallup at 4,000. Gallup, he just doesn't. He's talented. He just doesn't do it for me like a lot of other people. But at $4,000, probably going to be highly owned. We go to the tight end position. We know that Kelsey's going to be the most expensive. He's 6,800. I think he's 7,000 on the main slate. We can't get up to there with this build, but I think it makes a lot of sense to try to get to him in other builds. After that, there's no other tight ends. You guys, every week it's like, oh, this could be the Gerald Everett week or the Higbee week. Everybody likes to get hot with these Rams tight ends and say like the splits are different recently. They don't perform, right? Everett. This is Everett, right? I mean, for a tight end, if he's getting you 9 points, that's probably good. Maybe making me eat my words a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what these guys are doing up here. If I can afford an Eric Ebron, I'm going to afford the Eric Ebron. It might not pay off for me this week, but if I make those types of decisions in the long run, it's clearly going to pay off for me more. You play an Eric Ebron, even when you're trying to be different, over a guy like Gerald Everett, right? Who had a big game when it was the highest scoring game ever or whatever with the Monday night with the Chiefs and Rams. So this is a lineup. We have $600 left over. You guys know I like leaving money left over. If you don't know that, check out that PDF below. There's tons of ways down there to set yourself apart and give yourself a good chance to win money and just think differently. Try and be a contrarian, an optimal contrarian is a way I like to use. $600 here, there's a lot of other ways you can get different if you want. But listen to the lineup we have. we're playing both Gurley and Zeke in this type of a build, right? So I'll read the lineup off, especially for people on the audio version. We have Andrew Luck, Todd Gurley, Nyheim Hines, Robert Woods, Amari Cooper, Inman, Eric Ebron, Elliott in the Chiefs defense. Yeah, I like it. There's a couple of things, obviously, to point out. Hines is going to be our way to be contrarian at 3,300. Nobody's going to want to touch that man. But I like him probably more than Mack in this situation, in a game where it should be more passing, less running for the Colts, which means more Hines on the field because Mack, I mean, he has 9 targets over the last 3 weeks, which is a lot for him. But on the total year, I don't even think he has 9 targets in all the other games that he's played in. So that's something to actually check out. That'd be interesting to see. How many targets does Marlon Mack have outside of these past couple of weeks? So let me read them off for you guys. 2, 4. So, okay, so he's got a couple, 3 and 4. He's basically averages like 2 targets a game. So I don't want that. Not in a game where they're probably going to use Hines a little bit more. But again, monitor the news. Is something up with Hines? I don't know. I love Robert Woods this week. You guys know that. Amari Cooper, if we could afford him, I want him because I want either him or Tyreek Hill. One of those guys can break the slate at 40 points. And we could afford Amari, and I kind of like Amari a little bit better. Inman and Ebron, both on the same team, both getting red zone looks, both being consistent in terms of running routes in different parts of the field as well. I like both of them, and I like Chiefs D. So we have a lot of Colts here, so it makes sense that we have Andrew Luck stacked because we're saying this game's going to be high scoring. The only downside is we're not running it back with any Chiefs. And in these types of situations, you don't really have to run it back in these small slates, but it probably is a little more optimal than usual. I don't really know how we run it back here. In this type of lineup, we can't afford it. But again, this is just a first look. That's it, guys. That's pretty much it. Again, you could pull out a guy like Luck and you can come down at quarterback to Dak Prescott, and now you're left with $1,700, and you can do a lot more here. This is definitely interesting because if you go $1,700, if you want, you can go Damian Williams. So now you have Dak Prescott at QB with Todd Gurley and Damian Williams. Running back, Robert Woods and Amari Cooper. Cooper and Dak correlation. Inman, Ebron, and then you have Elliott in the running back spot. Also has a correlation with Dak because he's a pass-catching running back. That's what we like. You have $100 left over. This lineup will not be differentiated. I can guarantee you that right now. Not a lot of people are going to play Dak, so that might help you a little bit. But a lot of people are going to be on Gurley and Zeke. A lot of people are going to be on Amari and Inman. Probably not a lot of people are going to be on Williams and Woods as much, but just the fact that you're leaving 100 left. Last week the guy left 400 left and he won. It's just a situation where you might not have the only lineup like this, especially when there's a little less players to choose from. I do like this lineup though. I might play it, I might not. We'll find out. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. If you're still watching and you have not subscribed, please, 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 bottom right corner, right down here probably, hit that little subscribe button. Appreciate it. Trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the year. Hit up the Facebook group. Make sure you get in there. We're talking a ton, strategy, everything. Just, it's a fun time, right? A bunch of guys and girls in there. Make sure you download that PDF down below. Try and be more contrarian. Appreciate it. You guys, check out the blog. Check out everything else down there. Check out the Draft Dashboard, 30 days for $1. I mean, how can you beat that? But yeah, thank you guys. This video is going to be out shortly. And when you listen to this, it's definitely out. So, peace.